Hey everybody, my name is Jerry and I'm glad you can join me. 2017 Suzuki GSX-R1000R, sweet ride. Oh baby, 76 degrees today, we're gonna go out for a ride. After my last video about aggressive riding and braking, one of my subscribers asked to elaborate more on braking. So today, I'm gonna talk about front and rear brake. I know a lot of racers don't use the rear brake. I do, I use the front and the rear. It's a pretty elaborate subject matter, but we're gonna talk about that today. I'm also gonna do a little practice of clutch up wheelies, so stick with me because that's coming up right now.
Alright, here we go. See if we can do some wheelies here. Oh yeah, baby. How was that, guys? First wheelie of the day. Loving it. Okay, today, guys, we're going to talk about braking, front and rear. You know, when to use the front brake, when to use the rear brake. I know some riders and even racers will only use the rear brake. I mean the front brake, sorry. But I gotta tell you what, I use both. So we want to use the front and rear brake together. Just make sure you okay, for you guys who are racing motocross, you already know about rear brake. I don't really have to tell you much because you're already using it in motocross, and usually motocross racers, when they get into superbike or sport bike, they already know the value of the rear brake and they know what to do with it. It's a little bit different on the street, and the bike's definitely different dynamics than motocross, obviously. But for you guys who've never ridden motocross, I would recommend going out and practicing your front and rear brake. Just don't lock the rear brake, especially in the beginning, until you really get used to what you're doing. Okay. Now, contrary to popular belief, it is okay to lock the rear brake if you know what you're doing. And you watch the stunt riders, they're going to do it, even at high speeds. But normally you don't want to lock the rear brake. Because when you would have to be very masterful at carefully releasing that rear brake. Because if you lock the rear brake at high speed, and then let your foot off the rear brake quickly, and if the rear end is not in perfect alignment with where the front wheel is pointing, you're going to be in for a surprise. Most likely you're going to get high-sided, because the back end's going to line up with the front end in a real hurry and kick you off the bike. So what we want with the rear brake when we're stopping is we want to help us slow the bike, but not necessarily lock the rear wheel. Okay, you don't want to lock it. Sometimes, guys, when I'm coming up and let's say there's a little bit of traffic ahead of me and I don't really want to come up on the back bumper of the traffic that's ahead of me, I'll let off the gas and I'll just kind of sit up in the seat and not even have my hands on the handlebars, and I'll scrub off a little bit of speed just with my rear brake. I'll just touch the rear brake with my foot, my right foot, and wait till traffic gets up going again so I don't have to put my foot down and all that stuff. You follow me? So let's talk about, this is usually a technique you'd see in racing, but you can use it in the street too, and that is when you first grab the front brake. let me back up a little bit here. The front brake and front suspension, how are they related? Because they are related, and it's really important to understand this. When you grab the front brake, and how you go about grabbing the front brake is going to have a large impact on what the front suspension does. So if you're just grabbing the front brake jerky and all, then the front suspension is going to have to deal with that jerkiness, right? And you don't want that. So your initial grab of the front brake, and this is usually related to racing, but we're going to talk about it here anyway because it can be used on the street. You know, if you're riding aggressively, though, I don't recommend necessarily doing this on the street, not because it's dangerous, but because to really understand the full effect of it, you're going to have to be riding pretty aggressive. And the street can be a dangerous place to do that, because like I talked about before, racetracks have runoff. Well, at least the good ones do. Streets have signs and homes and cars and pedestrians and, you know, trees and poles and all kinds of stuff, right? So anyway, when you first grab the front brake, you don't really want to grab it. Okay? You want to squeeze it, you know, I don't know. Your initial squeeze, especially coming from high speed, should be enough to compress the front suspension smoothly. And you know, I don't know, maybe that's a 70%. It's hard to put a quantitative figure to how that initial braking should be. Okay, but it's not 100% braking on the initial grab of the front brake lever. It's like 70, maybe 80%, and that's to compress the front suspension and get it stabilized. Okay, and give it a moment, like a very small moment, and then from there you can brake, you know, near to maximum braking. What is maximum braking? Maximum braking is to the point where you don't lose mechanical grip. And what is mechanical grip? Mechanical grip is the tire itself gripping the road. If it starts to slide, then you've lost mechanical grip. I mean, if it slides, I mean, so okay, on the very on the minuscule level, I don't want to say microscopic, but on the minuscule level, you are sliding a little bit when you put the front brake on. It's just not very noticeable. Okay, but if you start having a noticeable slide, that means you're losing mechanical grip, and that's a dangerous situation. You can low side, right? The bike can fall over. But so you want to brake up to that point. You're going to have to know what that point is based on the racetrack you're on, the street you're on, the conditions of your tire. Is your tire warmed up? And the list goes on and on and on there, guys. Okay? But, so that's important to understand that. The initial grab of the front brake shouldn't be a jerky, you know, it shouldn't be jerky. It should be smooth, firm, and about 70 to 80% of your braking power. I'm just throwing a number out there, guys. The number could actually be different. And then you're going to do a maximum braking after that. Let's get up to speed and I'm going to try it. I'm braking hard. The bike almost wants to come off the back end wanted to come off the ground. Okay, because I'm not sitting back, which normally I would. I just wanted to demonstrate. I know it's hard to tell with a Hillman camera only, but so my initial braking there, I'm not going to talk about the speed because I don't want to talk about speeds on the video. You can see some of the speeds. Camera picks up some of it, but so my initial braking was firm. Okay, maybe 60-70% there, and then my second phase of braking was really firm to the point where I could feel the back end starting to get light and wanting to move around a little bit. I don't really want to brake past that because I don't want the back end coming off the ground and moving around on me. That could be a little bit dangerous. I mean, I'm not Marc Marquez, you know. I'm not a MotoGP rider, and I don't have a problem admitting it. These guys can get the back wheel off the ground and control the bike pretty well, and you know, they know what they're doing, and I've had it happen to me a few times when I've raced, and it is a strange feeling, but you do get used to it. You just don't want that back end swinging around real far on you. You don't want the back end coming over. You don't want to be looking to your left and there's the back end, right? And you're feeling like, why is my bike so sideways? I mean, that could be a pretty bad situation to be in. Let me slow down so you guys can hear me. Alright, this time I'm going to use both the front and rear brake and sit back in the seat a little bit. Okay, here we go. both brakes. Okay, I'm using both brakes. The bike slows down faster, guys. I guarantee the bike will slow down faster using both brakes. As long as you're sitting back in the seat a little bit, you're going to be good to go. Both brakes right here, and then I let off the brake. Slow down and turn it in. Mid throttle. On the gas. On the gas. On the gas. Not the gas. Both brakes a little bit because it's got some speed. And that's it. I don't want to freak this car out, right? So I hope you can appreciate the use of both brakes. Using the rear brake to point and shoot the bike around a corner, if necessary. Matt and Ladden, if you guys don't know who he is, he used to race AMA Superbike, which now we call it Moto America here in the United States. But back in the day when he raced, he would use a lot of point and shoot, and he would square the corner off. Now I'm not saying I've seen him step the bike out sideways into a lot of corners. I don't really remember him doing that too often, but nevertheless, he would definitely score the corners off, and you can do that using the rear brake. If you want to see a guy that uses a lot of rear brake off and on throughout his career, you look at Nicky Hayden. God rest his soul. Yes, Nicky, you were missed. But you can watch Nicky Hayden. He definitely would use the rear brake. Even in MotoGP, he'd use it. So, a lot of the guys that race the 600s will use the rear brakes. If you want to see a lot of rear brake usage, check out the races from Laguna Seca down into turn number 1. A lot of guys use a rear brake there, especially in the 600 class. Okay, watch them; they'll slide the bike right in there, and sometimes they're not always locking up the brake. They're just slowing the rear wheel by using a little bit of rear brake. Okay, well, just something to observe. Okay, so that's kind of the attitude in racing, what you kind of heard me talking to myself there. And that's what we do in racing. That's how we do it. You know, we come out of the corners, we're trying to get aggressive, we're monitoring the rear tire and everything, okay? All right, here we go. See if we can do some wheelies here. Yeah, baby. Not that I had to, I just want to scrub off a little speed. I'm going to use both brakes right here and get down to second gear real fast. The bike's just moving around just a little bit. But see, the bike is not going to move around as much with your weight moved back. Now, I will say this much. If you move your weight in the back towards the back of the seat or the middle of the seat, the one thing you're going to have to be careful of is, and this is true for mostly for the racetrack, but it's for the street too. If you're using both your front and rear brake and you put your butt in the middle of the seat that means there's less weight on the front suspension on the front tire. And that means your mechanical grip up front's probably going to be a little compromised. So be aware of that, guys. And what do I mean by that? That means you really shouldn't be turning in. You shouldn't be going through the turn with your butt still in the back of the seat, and you're still on the brakes. Now I'm not talking about trail braking, but more than one racer has had their weight in the back under braking to stabilize the bike and then turn it in and the bike wash out. So there comes a point where you want to transfer your weight up front, and you want to make sure you got the front tire's got plenty of grip, plenty of mechanical grip before you tip it in. So that's a lot of experimentation on a personal level and on the bike that you're on.
Well, there you go, guys. What an awesome day. Wow. Hope you got something out of that front and rear brake video today. Very elaborate and extensive subject matter, but hope you got something out of it. And how about those clutch-up wheelies, guys? Right out of the box, the first clutch-up wheelie, smack, that bike was up and I was going down the road. Man, I had a great time. The clutch-up wheelies just keep getting better and better and better. It was 76 degrees today, like I said. What an awesome day. And listen, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and click that Texas flag right there. You'll see over my head here is a playlist of all the videos on this awesome 2017 Suzuki GSX-R 1000R. And if you haven't watched the movies, just click on this icon right there. Go over. There's 2 movies over there. You can watch them for free. And until next time, guys, we'll see you right back here again real soon.